and welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson, joined as always by fellow host Johnny Paulus. Johnny, welcome on in. How are you doing this week?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing just swell. Just swell.
That's good. I have a good gig story from last night.
I have the somewhat obvious sarcasm to my tone of voice because work is just I got all these manufacturers coming into town soon, and
yeah,
you know, I don't think they ever realize how much work goes into scheduling a week of travel with people who weren't planning on seeing you.
Right.
And it's a lot. And I have two different ones like within 2 weeks, and it's a lot. And it's great. Everything's fine. Everything's
all
fine.
hunky-dory.
Yeah, it's a weird thing with my job. Like, I'm a salesperson, but sometimes I'd shift from being salesperson to being a travel agent. And whereas I'm really good at being a salesperson, I'm really not that fucking great at being a travel agent.
Yeah.
But it's the multiple hats that we have to wear. So, yeah. What happened at your at the Poorhouse Pub last night?
So, yeah, it was at Poorhouse Pub last night, and there's this group that has probably seen me play a dozen times between Poorhouse Pub and Red Eyes. They're always out. They're lushes. They like to go out and drink. So they're regulars at those bars. They've seen me a handful of times. They're always cool to me. I'm always cool to them. Normally a pretty good bet one of them's going to throw a $20 bill on my guitar case. We're good, right? The end of the night last night, one of the women says, "You know that you're our favorite, right?" I said, "Really?" And they go, "Yes. Like, we come here all the time, and we've seen everybody in town play. You are our favorite. I love your song selection. I love, the passion that you put into the music, regardless of who's in the room, yada, yada, yada." Like, she's just pumping my ego. And then she goes, "And I love your Counting Crows covers that you do." And I was like, well, August and Everything After is one of my favorite albums of all time. Like, it's easily in my top 5. She goes, "Yeah, man, Anna Begins, such a great song." I was like, "Oh, I know Anna Begins." She's like, "Bullshit. This was after I was already done. I'd hung the guitar up." And I was like, "No, I know that song." She's like, Could you play it for us?" It's like, all right. I bust the guitar out of the case, and I plug it back into the rig, and I play Anna Begins. Her husband gets up and puts a $100 bill into my guitar case, and then his buddy gets up and puts a $50 bill into my guitar case. I made $150 for playing one song.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
And there's a slight irony to the story, though, because if they catch you all the time, you've played that before.
I don't know if they've ever seen me play Anna Begins.
Damn. They must have just missed it.
I bust that one out pretty rarely because it's not really like a hit from the Counting Crows. It was never on the radio.
Yeah, it's more like a real...
It's an album cut.
There's one alcoholic in the corner of the bar kind of song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. You got money to do things and stuff just as the holiday season approacheth.
Yeah, that's the things and stuff I'm doing now is building the Christmas lists for the kids. And the best part is they want all of the games that I want.
That's like, the best.
We want Sonic Frontiers. We want Gotham Knights. It's like every game they're putting on there. I'm like, yep, I'll play that. I'll play that too.
Yep.
I'll play that. Sure, no problem. What about, you don't want that Mario Rabbids game, do you? Are you kidding? We loved the last Mario Rabbids. Okay, we'll put that on the list too. It's like when Homer Simpson gifted Marge a bowling ball with his name on it. It kind of feels like that a little bit when they, it's the same thing when they wanted a Nintendo Switch for Christmas. I was like, all right, I want a Nintendo Switch. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's the twisted irony is when my parents were buying me Christmas presents when I was your children's age, there was not a thing on there that they wanted anything to do with. But now, whatever is up with our generation of people, men particularly, we want children's things.
So true.
Yeah, it's so weird. That definitely
so true.
Flip-flopped in the last 30 years. So
yeah, like if I like, typical like dad stuff, right? Like if I needed a new drill or if I needed like, I don't know, like a ladder or tools or shit, that is not a Christmas gift thing. That's like, okay, I need it. Let's just go buy the thing. You know what I mean? But I feel like dads used to get tools for Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, as I look around my own room, it looks more just like a child with rich parents.
I mean, I'm surrounded by Funko Pops and a comic book I paid for a commission to have the cover done. I mean, yeah, we're big old kids. It's part of the fun.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It is episode 91 of the Power Gamer Podcast. We have many things to discuss this week. I'm curious at your list of games. We have one in common. Let's save that for when we're both done.
Okay.
So skip that, but what's going on here in your played list this week?
So Far Cry New Dawn, I put a really decent dent in it this week. I probably made more progress this week than I have in any of the other weeks. I complained last time that everything felt like a bullet sponge. I remember talking about having to unload an entire clip of a light machine gun to
Destiny bosses, right?
Destiny bosses. So the trick to cracking that, anyone that plays this game, don't worry, this is not a spoiler. The first thing you need to do is upgrade the workbench to level 2. That is your priority. Upgrade that before you upgrade anything else in the base. Because as soon as you can get level 2 and level 3 weapons, that's really no longer a concern. Enemies go down the way they should, but the level 1 weapons are so ass. And it really hindered my experience with the game. Because I felt like I was running around with a fucking wet noodle. It was hard to kill things. As soon as you get better weapons, now it's starting to feel like a Far Cry game. And there's a big mechanic I didn't see coming where I basically have superpowers now. I can double jump. I can activate like a Fury Wrath thing where you like punch people and they fly like 50 fucking feet. And then you can go into like super stealth mode where like you could be right in front of them and they won't see you. So, there's all kinds of little power-ups and shit that are happening.
So it is Destiny.
Kind of. I mean, you know what's funny is even though I am enjoying this game, it's very clearly not the same level of polish and quality that I experienced with 6 and with 5. This almost feels like a really, really high-end fan mod or something like that. It feels like some of the stuff makes sense, some of it doesn't. Like, the story beats and stuff are fine, but the gameplay itself, it's just a lot of really strange decisions that were made. There's no weapon customization. It's just, there's the crafting table, and you go, I'll make that one, and if you don't like the scope on it, tough shit. If you want to put a silencer on it, you can't. Which is kind of a bummer, but other than that, I'm digging the world, and I'm digging sort of the continuation of the Far Cry 5 story. So I do think that if somebody plans on going back and playing Far Cry 5, you should go in knowing that New Dawn is kind of required. Because the credits are going to roll on 5, and you're going to go, okay, fire up New Dawn, because it is very much a direct sequel. And then, outside of that, I, had a little bit extra money this week, and I've been getting that itch for Modern Warfare 2. I've been watching people play it online. I've been watching videos and such of it. And so I bit the bullet. I paid the $70. I bought it on the Blizzard app. And then I played it twice. And it looks really good. And it's super polished. It runs very well. But the overall online deathmatchy experience is so unchanged that I skipped the last 2 Call of Duties, and I fired up this one, and I was like, oh, I haven't missed fucking anything. It is the same. You know, I remember back in the day when, like, Advanced Warfare came out, and it's like, now there's, like, wall running and double jumps and, like, cool, this is new, something new. This just feels like all of the other Call of Duty games, so I actually refunded it. I Googled, can I return my purchase? And the Blizzard store says as long as you bought it within 14 days and as long as you don't have more than 2 hours, you may refund it. So I didn't hate my experience, and I do think I'm probably going to go back and repurchase it. One of the main catalysts as to why I returned it I opened up Steam earlier today, and I saw 5 or 6 of my buddies were playing Modern Warfare, and I was like, why didn't I see anybody on when I fired it up? And then, light bulb, it occurred to me. I bought it on the Blizzard store. I didn't buy it on the Steam store. So then, the thought occurred to me of, what if I get a Steam Deck, and I want to play Modern Warfare 2? I'm fucked. Because I don't have it on Steam. So I partially returned it because it didn't blow me away, but I also, the other 50% of that was, I returned it because I want to own it on Steam instead of the Blizzard app. So fast forward a week from now, I might be talking about the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. I don't know. We've got God of War coming out in 2 days, so that's probably going to keep me busy until Midnight Suns and all these other great games that are coming.
Yeah, I'll touch Modern Warfare when it's $30, $20. I have no interest in playing the multiplayer. There's so many better things to play for multiplayer. I mean, fuck, even Overwatch 2 is like infinitely a better experience to play than Call of fucking Duty in 2022.
Well,
like,
and that's
it was the shit back when Modern Warfare 2 came out.
Right.
I mean, the old Modern Warfare 2.
Right.
And like there was some like legs into Black Ops that was okay.
Yeah.
But how many times can you just do the exact same thing over and over and over? It's I just all I'm interested in is the campaign. I've heard the campaign for this one's not the best. I don't
the
really
the
care.
campaign looks good.
Yeah, I don't really care because there's some of the reviews I've read are like there's a lot of politics going on in their game review, which I never can understand that. It's a video game.
Right.
Does it need to make political sense if it's a video game? Probably not. So yeah, I just want to play the campaign for it. What I don't like is I'm not going to pay $70 for something that is so entirely a multiplayer experience when I just want to play the campaign. So I'm going to wait for it to go on like crazy fucking we fucked up again sale because
yeah, I mean, so then the other sort of thing that made me start second guessing my purchase of Modern Warfare 2. This is a completely true story. I purchased it before I went to my gig. Hit install, told it what drive, went to my gig, and while I was at my gig, I'm like, oh, when I get home, I get to play the new Modern Warfare, right?
No.
As soon as I open the Blizzard app, I see my homies are on, and they're playing Overwatch 2. And they immediately hit me up and were like, let's roll. And I played Overwatch 2 till 2, 3 in the morning. Didn't think about Modern Warfare once. Wasn't like, hey, I gotta go break away, I want to try this. No, the homies were on, we played Overwatch 2. And it's like,
so much better.
Why did I spend $70 if all my friends are playing Overwatch still? You know what I mean? It's like, if fast forward 3 months from now, everyone is playing Call of Duty, maybe, who knows? But for right now, I think I'm in the same camp as you. I'll wait till I can get it for less. I do want to play the campaign, but I don't want to farm fucking camos on my weapons again. I've done it so many times, and I just...
Thank God, it's so annoying when you get on those Call of Duty kicks. You're like, wait, come play Call of Duty, and I'll come play like 5 matches. I'm like, this is fucking so stupid.
I mean, I get it.
I can't.
It's easy to fall into that rabbit hole. I get it, but I mean, yeah, I'm a streamer, I'm a podcaster, and I have to have things to talk about. And if all I play is, well, I got another 32 hours into Call of Duty, I unlocked the gold skin on my fucking P90, and that's all it would be for months and months and months. So,
yeah, I'll wait till I can play the campaign. All right. What have I been doing this week? So I've been playing with my GameCube. That's right. I've been playing with the GameCube because I have been streaming the classic Resident Evil 4 for the GameCube. My goodness, is this game terrifyingly fucking frustrating and good at the same time.
It still holds up, man.
It looks gorgeous. It is the most fucking frustrating game ever because Resident Evil 4 was like one of those first games, like with the over-the-shoulder view that like spawned everything that we know today. Which was huge because Resident Evil was the king of fucking tank controls, where you had the weird camera angle, and forward always made your character walk forward no matter which direction you were. An iteration from you watching the screen, it's forward is forward. And the other thing with the old Resident Evil games is when you want to shoot a zombie, you have to stop and shoot a zombie and not move while you're shooting. So in comes Resident Evil 4. This new camera is great. However, they decided to not get rid of the not being able to move and shoot. So in Resident Evil 4, you're constantly fighting, trying to dodge enemies that are swatting at you, and your character that can't move while attacking.
Yeah.
And there's that like second you have to wait where he's lowering his weapon before you can hit the down and B button at the same time. So you wait another second while he does a 180, and then you have to get him to start running forward, which takes another second. So it's like 3 seconds minimum to start trying to dodge something that's trying to fucking kill you.
That's so true. Yeah, no, it's
but
it's a classic.
That horrid mechanic in Resident Evil 4 actually adds to the tension, because the whole time you're waiting that 3 seconds, you're just going, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you die. But it's great. I'm about halfway through it, so I'll probably have it beat here in another couple of nights. Really, I am really enjoying going back, and I started this last year where I've done basically a death march through all of the Resident Evil games. Did all the original PlayStation ones, and I did Code Veronica X, and 7 and 8 last year. And then this year I've done Resident Evil 2 Remake, 3 Remake. I just did Silent Hill on PS1, and now I'm doing Resident Evil 4. Here's something that's cool. This is a little sneak preview. Ready?
Yeah. Oh.
For those not watching on video, that was a Black Label copy of Silent Hill 3 for the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, buddy.
That's a biggin. A Plague Tale Requiem.
Yeah, I think this is the next one I'm going to jump into.
Yeah, there's a few things to discuss here. I'm about a quarter of the way through the game right now.
Yeah.
Same comments as before. There's a lot more opportunity for violence in this game. But the main thing I want to talk about with it, and this is probably more so affecting console players than it is PC, but there is no performance mode on this game. It is tits out fucking ray tracing. That's it.
Right.
Which looks gorgeous. However, you're getting 30 frames on console. Yeah. That's it. You're not getting a fucking frame above 30 at any point in time on this game.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is the defining thing of next gen is frame rate.
I agree.
And it feels like you're playing a fucking PS4 game. It doesn't, all the ray tracing, all the beautiful textures and all this, it doesn't matter. Your brain doesn't give a fuck. What your brain wants is the smoothness of 60 frames per second.
Yep.
And it just doesn't do it on console. So I've gotten used to it again. I mean, Christ, I'm the guy that played Cyberpunk on a PS4 at launch.
Yeah.
I can deal with bad frame rates. But it's taken some getting used to, and it really sucks that they chose to do that. And there's been a lot of negative blowback on that, because Gotham Knights also did the same thing, and they came out at the same time. And it's like Plague Tale works a little bit better with it because it's a much slower paced game.
Yeah.
Than something like Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights not doing it's just fucking not good. But
and I think that'll help you understand why I'm a PC gamer, because I I don't like 60. 60 looks off to me. I'm so spoiled with 90 and 120 and 140 that I see 60, and 60 still feels the same. Feels like a generation gap. It feels slower. I can, in a lot of games you don't really notice it, but especially in first-person shooters, I hate first-person shooters at 60 frames. Hate them. Can't do it.
Yeah, I've just gotten used to it. I didn't care before. Like, when everything was fucking at 30 frames per second, I didn't care. But now that it's been spoiled and 60 frames is out of the bag, the first thing I did, I've been trained. So the first thing I did when I turned on the game was look for performance mode. And it was not there. And I was like, what? Really?
Uh-oh.
Okay then. So this looks great. And man, that feels weird. Oh, that feels real weird. I mean, I get it. Like, your higher frame rates and stuff. 60 is like, at this point for me, I don't care if it's higher. That's like my baseline for acceptable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If it's,
I fully agree. If it's Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5, it should be 60 frames. I think that is minimum. The standard, period. We're leaving 30 frames per second gaming in the fucking dust. It should die.
It needs to go away.
We're done. It needs to go away. And if that means you need to turn your ray tracing down, or, do the same thing PC players do.
Yeah, that's
we go in and go, let me turn the shadows down a little bit. Oh, there we go. There's the frame rate I wanted. I mean,
that's
no reason these developers couldn't do that.
That's unfortunately going to be the story of this game, is one boneheaded decision. Like, I can't even wrap my mind around why that was a decision that was made.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how it performs on my computer. I haven't fired it up yet.
Yeah, I mean, even if it could get to, like, fucking 45, that would be fine on this game. But 30 is just, like, a little, But on a PC, you might be able to play with shit more than you can on console. You don't know. So, that all being said, the game's fabulous and is must play, all that. But I'm going to fucking dog it when it's time to give it a score for, unless they patch it between now and the time I finish it. Because of this frame rate thing. All right, so we have a game in common here on our list, and you've gotten some eye rolls from me and stuff, because this game has to do with Marvel. But for as annoying as I can be when it comes to things that I'm tired of, that I'm sick of, whatever, I at least have the redeeming quality to always give something a fair shot, even if I think I'm not going to like it.
Yep.
And that brings us to Marvel Snap. So Johnny's been on here talking about Snap quite a bit.
Yep.
He's been streaming Snap. He's been playing Snap a lot. And I said, okay, let's check this out. So at the minimum, I can have an intelligent conversation about why this game sucks.
I absolutely 100% knew that's what you were going to do. You're like, I knew you were going to hate play it. You're like, this is going to be bullshit, but I at least be able to, I need to be able to tell him why it's bullshit.
So it happens to be quite the opposite. And we need to talk about Marvel Snap, and we need to talk about it fairly seriously here today.
Yeah, I'm down.
Marvel Snap is fantastic. It's absolutely wonderful. You've heard Johnny talk about it, so here's kind of my first takes on it. It's incredibly free. It
really is.
You do not need to pay anything to play this game. There's no packs to buy. No bullshit at all. The first season pass you're presented with is completely free that you can work through. And the one after that's like $10. One of my gripes with season passes has always been that you cannot finish them. I said,
yep,
because I've been playing the shit out of this game, I said, fuck it. Let's pay the $9.99.
Yeah, I did too.
I want Carnage. He's in this thing. Dude, I had the whole pass done like in 3 hours. Like, it doesn't take days and weeks, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to the end unless I commit the rest of my life to playing this one. No, you're done with it in a few hours. Like, it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
The games are super short. It has so many opportunities to hit you with bullshit and chooses not to.
I agree.
You know, like, free-to-play games will charge you for deck slots. This game does not charge you for deck slots. Free-to-play games typically don't tell you that you can't buy anything else. This one has limits baked into how often you can make purchases in the storefront. I don't know if you noticed that, but
yep.
That's a thing. You can only buy X amount per day. And then it says, no more. And that's just like the silly stuff on the surface. The actual game underneath the hood is, I mean, it just shits on everything.
Fully agree. This is the card game right now. End of story. It's done. This is the card game right now.
Yeah, I like it. And I played MTG for a very long time. Not the digital stuff, the actual card game. I mean, I go all the way back to my first one was Star Wars customizable card game back in the late 90s. Magic the Gathering, the old school Pokemon game. Hearthstone obviously was huge for both you and me.
Yep.
So we've been around the block with these card games a lot. And I mean, this one's just easily the best. It's really fun to play. There's no bullshit of buying packs and stuff. You upgrade the visuals on your card via points that you earn just for playing the game that you get in very fat sums. So like there's no slowness. You're constantly making your cards more beautiful, and as you make your cards prettier, this sounds ridiculous. As you make your cards prettier to look at, you unlock new cards like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous the amount that I have. So I'm like a week behind on you. I'm at level 38 iron, so I'm about to kick over into gold.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6 decks. They're all completely different in how they play.
Yeah.
So if something's not working for a few matches, it's just switch it over. Then you go on a 10-game run. You know, most matches take less than 5 minutes.
Yep.
It's just great. So.
Well, the two big things that I didn't really talk about much last week that I'd like to touch on now that I've had some more time with it. Number one, kind of to piggyback on your love fest right there you just had with Marvel Snap. It feels like before they made this game, they sat down and said, what are all the shitty things that every other card game does? Like, what's the stuff that's a bummer, right? And, like, in Hearthstone, the bummer is, once the meta has been discovered, and the meta forms and builds, you start the round and you go, it's a face hunter. I'm done. Give up the game, right? Because you've done that same exact fucking game 87 times. You know how it's going to end. There's no point. I'm out, right?
Indeed.
But in Snap, with the fact that there's these 3 different battlegrounds, and these 3 different battlegrounds all have their own rules. Every single game has never been played before. The combination of your deck with the combination of the battlegrounds and the combination of their deck, you are playing a game of Marvel Snap that has never been played every single game. The combination of those fields is what this game lives, breathes, and dies on, and it's so awesome. Sometimes you get rules that are such BS that you're like, are you kidding me? I can't play here after turn 4, and on this one I can't play turn 2 and 3 and 5. How am I going to get around this, right? But the thing is, the person that you're playing against, they have the same rules. They're dealing with the same they're navigating their deck through those different fields trying to figure it out. Seriously, for anybody that's never really played a card game or is sitting there with their head spinning trying to figure out what it is that we're talking about, I also think the game does a very good job of teaching you the game. I have a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old, and they both get it. They both play Marvel Snap. They both dig it. So, it, like Mike said, it's completely free. It's very, very free, and I think it's the most exciting card game we've seen in years.
Yeah, that whole 3 battlefield thing is really what makes it, and the fact that you can only play 4 cards on each one.
Correct. Well, and then the other thing is that there's only 6 turns. I mean, the game it's real fast.
Yeah, and
the games are quick.
There's barely any cards in your deck.
Yep.
It's really just good, and so my main deck right now is based around discarding Apocalypse, because every time
Lady Sif, Swordmaster,
every time you discard Apocalypse, he gets +4 power, and so you just throw him down. He's like a fucking 24 power wrecking ball, and all the discard cards are extremely high power because you have to pay that blood price of discarding something from your hand. So it's just a big balls deck that if you've got the balls, turn 1 to throw down Blade and just see what the fuck gets obliterated from your hand, you're probably going to win the game.
Right.
Because it's just how it works. So I've been loving that. I've just been steaming through the ranks with that deck because it's just it's big fuck you energy to everyone.
I have been playing what's called a Kazoo deck. It's based around Khazar. Khazar increases the power of all 1-cost cards by 1.
Your Squirrel Girlin'.
Yeah, exactly. Squirrel Girlin', Mr. Sinister, all that stuff. So I have Khazar. I also have Blue Miracle, which increases the power of all cards by 1. And then you have Onslaught that doubles all ongoings. So I can combo the Onslaught with Iron Man, which doubles a field, which makes it quadruple a field. I mean, so I've had fields that are 60 and 80 and over 100, and it's stupid. But now it's just such a good game. It's such a good game.
Yeah, I need to find Ghost Rider.
I don't have him. I don't have him.
What he does is he'll take the card that you discarded and throw it down on the field next to him on reveal. So if you've discarded a card and you play him, he'll bring that card onto the battlefield with him. Yeah, I need that one.
Well, here's an interesting discard combo. Have you seen the Strong Guy card?
Yes.
So if your hand is empty, he gains 6 power. So that's one of the other things that works with the Kazoo deck. I have Blade, which is a 3 damage that discards a card. And then I have America Chavez in my deck because she's guaranteed to come on turn 6 and only turn 6. So what happens is, if you play your cards right, as long as you have Blade and Strong Guy, you can always on turn 6 put down Strong Guy, put down Blade, you will discard the America Chavez. Now your hand is empty and Strong Guy is a 10. So you're able to put 13 damage down across 2 different fields. It's a really strong play on top of the other combos and synergy that you have. It's sick.
Yeah, so Marvel Snap, there's no beating this game. So we just kind of got to take it for what it is. It's a 9.0 for me, which I think is about as high as a game like this could possibly score.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a 9. So, yeah, if you haven't checked it, it's fucking free. You can get it on Steam, get it on your phone. If you link your Google account, it just seamlessly bounces between the two.
Yep, I play on my phone, and when I'm at home, I play on my computer, and it's great. Everything's there.
Yeah, so Marvel Snap, guys. We needed to talk about it, and now we have.
Yep. Don't sleep on it.
And Johnny, you must be very happy for me to say love and Marvel in the same sentence.
Well, and the other thing is, it's just, I feel like I'm noticing there's a little bit, I got a hit streak going, right? I told you to play Marvel Snap, and you said, all right, I'll play Marvel Snap, and I was right. And then I said that the PSVR2
we haven't talked about
was going to sell for more than $399, and you said, no way, it's going to be $399. I'll tell you what, Johnny, if it's a penny over $399, I will buy you a 6-pack of beer. Mike Dawson, what is the street price on the PSVR2?
Yeah, let's talk about this real quick because this is a fucking mess for Sony. It's $549.
Yeah, it's a right. I thought it was going to be $599.
This is a mess. And to further clarify, just because Johnny has won this bet does not mean that his opinion isn't fucking crazy. Thinking that this thing's going to cost $600, because that's just insanity. It should not cost anywhere near that fucking much money. None of the processing is done on the unit. It has a goddamn cable. So to actually have a PSVR, right?
Yep.
Because just buying the unit on its own doesn't get you anything other than a paperweight.
Correct.
So to actually get a PSVR is over $1,000 because you need a PlayStation 5 and you need the PSVR. And the cheapest PlayStation 5 you can get is $499. Quick math, that's $1,050 to get a PSVR, which is bananas. Nobody is going to buy this fucking thing. This is complete suicide for that unit. Even the most enthusiastic VR people like myself, I'm not buying it for $549. I can tell you that. No way.
The reason why I knew it was going to be expensive is because I am a tech head and I saw the specifications. As soon as I saw it's basically 2K.
I'll let you finish this point, but I have a hard counter on this.
That's fine. I'm not going to rant for too long. It has the eye tracking. It has the cameras on the outside of the headset. I mean, I looked at the features and I'm like, this looks like a Valve Index. And a Valve Index is $750 if you want it with the 2 controllers. So I completely see your point. The average consumer is going to see that price and go, I already gave you $500. I get that. But for somebody that wants high-end VR gaming, this thing is very high-end. It, spec-wise, is up there with the $1,000 VR headsets, the $800 VR headsets. Mm-hmm. Its specs are really, really sick.
Okay, you ready for me to slap that point like fucking 20 feet
Go
into
ahead.
the dirt? The PlayStation, the Xbox Series X, if we're looking at them from a technical standpoint, are worth a lot more than $500. They're worth a lot fucking more than $500. But what console manufacturers do to get tech into people's hands so they can sell software on their platform that they have complete control over is that they sell the hardware at a loss. Because if you don't, you're not going to sell any fucking hardware. If a PS5 costs the same as a gaming computer, guess what you're not buying? You're not buying a PS5. You're going to go buy a fucking gaming computer.
Yep.
When a PSVR costs the fucking same as... I mean, to get it between a Valve Index, like, dude, just go buy a PC and a fucking Oculus and call it a goddamn day. Like, because with PlayStation, you're also stuck in their ecosystem, which is why it shouldn't cost that much. You don't have. Well, I mean, you don't have access to this giant library. You're stuck with whatever Sony approves for it. So it made sense on last generation's PSVR where it was priced at, per the prices of the consoles that you used it with. That made sense, and they had a decent catalog for it. But it's nothing in comparison to what you could play on PC with a VR headset.
Yep.
So I hear you. Yes, you're right. It makes sense from a technical standpoint that it should cost this much. However, what I'm saying is that's just not how it's ever worked before.
Well,
side.
See, where I see this as a stumble on Sony's part is I think they went too high-end with it. Just in general, in the specs. When I saw the specs, again, my first thought was like, God damn, I mean, this thing's like $1,000 VR headset. I knew it wasn't going to be $3.99 just because of the shit that they're putting in it. I think they went too high end on it.
Yeah, I don't get the point of an accessory for your console that costs more than the console.
It's pretty big ask, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it's nice. It's going to be great, but I also know that there's how many games coming for it that I'm probably actually excited for? One first party game that is going to come out at launch, right?
Yeah.
So that's a lot to ask a consumer to invest in your product for a game. You know what I mean? Are we going back and making like Gran Turismo 7 completely VR compatible? Okay, that would be something. But as it stands,
and I could totally see them doing that.
As it 100%. Stands, we already know that we can't even go back and play our already owned PS games with this thing. And it's not because of anything technical. There's no resolution to this problem. Do you know why? Has nothing to do with the headset. What did the old PS use for controllers? There's the fucking Move controllers that had 6 buttons on them. How many buttons does the new controller have?
I don't know.
It's just like those Oculus ones with like 2 buttons on them. So there's just no way you can map games that were devved for the old PSVR to the PSVR2. It's just not possible. The controller is the reason why. It has nothing to do with the headset. Because for any game to function in PSVR2 from the original PSVR, they would have to patch each game and try and see if they could figure out how to make their games work with 20% buttons available to them that they had when they devved the game originally. It's not ever going to happen. So, like, for those of you out there that are holding out hope, like, oh, they'll totally make it backwards compatible at some point. No, the fuck they won't. That's not happening. That's not coming.
Right.
It's not possible. It's just not possible. And it's not because the headset's too fancy or whatever. It's because the controllers that they were devved for. It was not developed for these new controllers.
Well, but so there's 2 buttons on the top and 2 buttons here. That's 4. How does the Move have 6? I don't know.
It has the full set of buttons on them. I've got a pair right behind me. It's got all 4 sacred symbols, share, start, trigger, all that shit's on it.
Okay, I mean, I see your point there, but most of the VR games that I've played, it's a lot of what you do is just the trigger and the top button.
Yeah, no, because of PSVR and where it was when it came out, and again, being a proprietary piece of hardware, the games were designed that you could either play it holding a controller with all the buttons accessible to you, or with the PS Move controllers where you'd still have all the buttons available to you. So there's no fixing this fuck up.
Yeah.
And then the new system...
Time will tell.
And then the new system's $549, so... Congratulations, you're right, but this is fucking stupid. Man, that was great. That wasn't even a scripted segment. That was completely ad lib. Let's move on to the a bit. Actually, that's good. We can go through these other pieces a little quickly. They are interesting tidbits, though. One in particular was really weird. I don't know if you watched this video.
I did.
Hideo Kojima's new game was leaked? Was it leaked? Was that intentional? I don't know. Kojima's a weird dude. He does weird shit. And this was really weird for a leak.
Super weird.
Okay, so here's the drop per Video Games Chronicle. Footage of what appears to be a new horror game from Hideo Kojima has been published online. The footage, which is being widely circulated on social media and is viewable via the embedded video below, that's from their article, of course, is seemingly the same gameplay that was first described in a Try Hard Guide's report in June. It appears to feature Margaret Qualley, who starred in Kojima Productions' debut game, Death Stranding. It shows a character using a flashlight to navigate dark corridors from a third-person perspective. The video closes with a jump scare before displaying Game Over, followed by a Hideo Kojima game, and finally Overdose. Okay, that's all great. What the article can't possibly put into words is that this video is some shirtless dude filming what appears to be a tablet, playing the video with his phone.
And it's the shakiest phone footage ever.
And like the lighting in his room is so bright that you can see the man's nipply chest in the reflection of the video the entire time it's playing.
The other thing that's weird about it is this video that he's watching.
Yeah, it's like a streamer.
The UI along the bottom is clearly a YouTube video. It's the YouTube interface. You can see the counter. You can see the bar. He's watching a YouTube video, and it's a YouTube video of, in the corner of the screen, looks like a girl playing the game with a controller in her hand. And you're just like, where the fuck did this come from? Like, how is somebody streaming a game that doesn't exist that's now posted on a YouTube video that now a guy is shirtless in his fucking mom's basement watching this video and play? It's so weird.
I have the answer. Are you ready? Because Kojima
it's not a leak.
Said he wanted to do something new and something groundbreaking, a revolutionary horror game. Here's my proposal to you, Johnny Paulus.
Okay.
Hideo Kojima is the first ever game developer to develop a second-person horror game where you as the player watch someone else playing the horror game.
And you don't interact?
It's second person, dude. You're just watching somebody else play the game. Because that's what we saw. It's like,
that was so weird.
It's like some guy filming someone else playing the game.
Well, and then the
second person
other thing that they missed. The other thing that they missed in this article, the video closes with a jump scare before displaying Game Over. No. The video ends with the most obvious jump scare in the history of the world. They're showing clearly something's behind her. Clearly she's running from something. She runs 5 feet, ducks behind a desk, and then has the, oh, thank God I'm safe. While all the sound stops and the camera pans around, you're like, here comes a jump scare. I mean, it's I don't know. It's weird, and I didn't see the trailer and go, oh my God, Hideo Kojima does it again. It looks okay.
I can't take anything seriously from that. So if you haven't watched it yet, search for the Overdose trailer and check it out. It's really fucking weird. Next up, a game reveal occurred this week, and it pushed all the right buttons for Mike Dawson. Because I am huge into survival horror. And so a new survival horror game got revealed. It's called Blight Survival. Johnny, I don't know if you had a chance to check out the video gameplay.
Yes, Lord, I did.
Blight Survival. But here's the wrap from taken straight off the Steam store, because you can wishlist this game now on Steam. Blight Survival is a 4-player co-op action horror roguelite set in the unforgiving no man's land between 2 desperate states at ceaseless war. Within this purgatory, a new strain of blight has sprung from remains of the dead, strengthened by the blood that has been spilled. It rapidly spreads, turning man into monster. As the nations bleed, chastened and paralyzed by war, they call upon you and your kin with offerings of coin. Being the only ones willing and capable, you've been tasked to venture in and raise the all-consuming blight. Fight with up to 3 friends your way through both men and monsters in a violent co-op experience. Pillage and loot the spoils of those less fortunate. But remember, what has been found can be once again be lost. Choose between a large selection of weapons armor and customize them to best suit your playstyle. Explore the war-ravaged lands in a huge map filled with secrets and plenty of coin to be found. Okay, so this game basically looks like medieval Resident Evil.
Yes.
But it's a roguelite, and it's co-op.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. No, this trailer looks amazing.
I can't wait to play this game with all the buds.
Oh, yeah. No, this looks awesome.
It's a brand new studio that hasn't done anything. They're so new, I already forgot their name. It's some weird Scandinavian sounding thing. We'll pull that up later.
Well, if they're listening, I would just ask, please put ray tracing on the man's helmet. The fact that the reflection in his helmet didn't change was the only thing in the trailer that I thought didn't look
alpha.
AAA.
It's an alpha build.
Again, I'm
it
aware of that.
Said it in the video, Johnny.
I know it did. I'm putting that out there. That literally the entire trailer looked incredible. The only thing that bugged me is I was like, man, that reflection on the back of the
I didn't
helmet's
even
not
think
changing
about that.
Yeah,
PC
I'm spoiled.
Elite race over there. Just as long as it runs at 60 frames per second, cool. And this totally looks like a game that should be on Game Pass. Just saying.
I agree.
Just saying. So, yeah, I'm excited for this, folks. Check out Blight Survival. Blight Survival.
Yeah, it's like a 5-minute video, too. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right. That will bring us to the final segment of this week's show. Johnny, that segment is, of course, called... Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. It's time for One Up. Johnny, get us started. What on earth do you have going on here in this One Up?
Sure. So last week I talked about I was looking forward to the AMD presentation for their next line of video cards because I was really curious to see where the cards were going to fall. Because right now you have the new Intel processors. You have the Intel A750, which has 8 gigs of VRAM, is $289. The 770 with 8 gigs of RAM is $329. And then the 770 with 16 gigs of RAM is $349. Okay? Then the next generation of NVIDIA comes out. What's the price point on those? $1,200 for a 4080 with 16 gigs of RAM, or $1,600 for the 4090 with 24 gigs of RAM. So AMD had their presentation. Here's our new line. It's the RDNA 3. We're finally introducing our chiplet technology. So the reason why Ryzen has been kicking the fucking pants off of Intel for the last 3 years is because of what they call chiplets. And chiplets means that their actual processor die is modular. Whenever they want, they can go, well, we can just add 2 more cores. We can just add another 4 things of cache. They don't have to go back to the drawing board when they're making an upgrade. It's almost like Lego blocks. They can just add to it. So that's how they're able to, every year, they're getting faster and faster and faster, and Intel cannot fucking keep up. So AMD comes out. Here's our RDNA 3. We have the 7900 XT, which has 20 gigs of RAM. And we have the 78 XTX, which has 24 gigs of RAM. They're $899 and $999. And from what they're saying, we haven't seen the official benchmarks yet, but AMD has been pretty on the level for the last few years with a lot of their presentations. I tend to believe them at this point. It sounds like the XTX, which is $999, is going to be pretty neck and neck with the 4090, which is $1,600. Now, here's the problem. What about guys like me? I'm an enthusiast. I like high-end video cards. I don't mind spending money on them, but I'm not spending $999. Even though AMD came out and said, "Boom, we're beating their $1,600 card for $1,000." Yes, that's a great value. But if Intel is at $3 and change, and AMD is at $1,000. Where's the 500? Where's the 600? Where's the 450? I think next year is going to be a really exciting year for GPUs because these guys aren't stupid and they recognize that there's this massive price gap where nothing is inhabiting. So let's just say 3 months from now, Intel says, oh, by the way, here's our next one. It's $499 and it goes head-to-head against the $899 AMD. Now, all of a sudden, we've got a major shakeup. We have 3 fucking companies that are all pumping out high-end shit. NVIDIA wants to be at that top tier. Intel's new into the market, and AMD's coming out with that new technology. It's going to be some amazing shit happening in GPUs. If you want to buy a GPU right now, put one on your Christmas list, just buy the Intel. Save your money. Buy the Intel or buy the last year AMD.
Or just buy a 3080 because they're fine.
Or just buy a 3080.
Yeah. Those things aren't going to be bad anytime soon.
Nope, 3080 still crushes. That's what I have. You can get them regularly for $699. They crush, but in this current generation, everybody's on the moon right now.
Yeah. My one up has to do with we've been safe for some time. However, we have another week of just ridiculous releases upon us. So it kind of kicked off with Modern Warfare 2. Now we also have, this one's more for me, WRC Generations. For those that don't know what that means, World Rally Championship Generations. This is the newest WRC game from what's normally an annualized release, WRC 9, 10, etc., so on and so forth. But this new WRC game looks great, and it released at $39.99. And all the reviews on it are just absolutely bonkers. So it's time to finally, I guess, integrate the PS5 into the sim rig and take a crack at WRC Generations. Harvestella came out on the Nintendo Switch, and this is a game I've been excited about for a while. It's part Stardew Valley, part Final Fantasy. Johnny's making the right face for this.
I'm not familiar with it at all.
So Harvestella is yet another Square Enix release in a year packed full of amazing Square Enix releases. And this one's really, really cool looking, and it's a nice new idea. So with the trend of farm simming games, it takes that and also combines it with a traditional Japanese RPG, where you need to go out and kick the shit out of monsters and do the, JRPG story to bring things back to pump up your town and do crops and stuff. So, yeah.
That might be a Christmas gift for Megan. Honestly.
I was about to say, like, Megan and Amy would probably want to see this game to see if they liked it. I know Amy's into stuff that has, like, JRPG style combat because she's taken, she beat Kingdom Hearts 3, she's beaten Paper Mario, all sorts of stuff along those lines. So, Harvestella just came out. Don't sleep on that. Another massive JRPG. I mean, and this one needs a little bit more hype. Tactics Ogre Reborn. Tactics Ogre is one of the most important RPGs of all time. Period. It's ridiculously expensive on old PS1 hardware. It's what basically gave birth to the tactics genre that Johnny Paulus so fucking adores.
I do.
And Tactics Ogre Reborn is a remake of what is considered not only one of the first, but also the best tactics game of all time. And it's out now.
I've never played it.
You would go fucking bananas for Tactics Ogre Reborn.
Well, I just returned Modern Warfare 2. Maybe I need to buy that thing right now.
The fact that you've played Final Fantasy Tactics, yes? Okay.
Yes.
And you thought it was really good? Cool. This game's a lot better.
Awesome.
So you need to play it. This is a must play for Johnny Ballas.
Yep.
Sonic Frontiers, which I don't give two flying fucks about, but a lot of people do.
Did you see the new trailer? It came out like 4 or 5 days ago.
I didn't because it's
It's called Sonic Frontiers Showdown, I think it's called. This game still looks really good.
I'll peek at it. I brought it up here in my one-up, so that's the most you can ask for
Yep.
from me. Because
Fair enough.
Very excited for the Sonic game.
And Midnight Suns is only a month away.
But that's a month away, and what's only 2 days away is God of War Ragnarok. Which a lot of the reviews from reviewers I trust are basically saying this is this is it. So, man, we're gonna have a real fucking showdown in about a month when it comes time to start picking our GOTY candidates.
Yep.
Because this is the year that saw a new Horizon game, that saw Elden Ring, and now has God of War Ragnarok coming out in it. So,
yep,
that's a lot.
There's a lot happening in the next 60
There's
days.
a lot happening. Actually, we can run a couple minutes over. Actually, we're a couple minutes early, so I have a question for you, Sarah. That
sure
could be interesting enough that people would want to hear your thoughts. It's a stressful time of the year because we're coming into the holidays. We're also coming up on the end of the year. What games are on your must play before this year is done?
Plague Tale, God of War, Midnight Suns.
What's the actual release date on Midnight Suns now?
December 2nd, I believe.
I thought it got pushed back.
No, it's December. It got pushed back, and then they pushed it right back into 2022.
Okay, yeah, December 2nd. December 2nd.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a day one pre-purchase. I'll be streaming it the day it comes out. Cannot wait. XCOM 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, and this is for X's next game, and it happens to be a Marvel game. Y'all, I got a Deadpool on my microphone. I got fucking Wanda on my t-shirt. I'm all marveled up, so I can't wait.
As it currently stands, because I keep a running list, and I've started putting my gut reviews next to my running list so I can keep track.
Mm-hmm.
So sneak peek into the future about how I'm feeling already. I have Elden Ring at a 9.5. Horizon Forbidden West at a 9.2. The Last of Us Part 1 at a 9.5. I think the next highest was Ghostwire Tokyo at an 8.8. And then rounding out my top 5 on this year is a surprising one, Sniper Elite 5 at an 8.7. So, I don't know if that's food for the brain, but those are some pretty quick games in there. Sniper Elite 5 does not take a long time to clap.
Okay.
And certainly Ghostwire Tokyo doesn't. But
well, I'm definitely, once I'm done Far Cry New Dawn, I'm definitely going to pause my death march through Far Cry because I still have a lot more to do, and I've got a whole bunch of games I got to get caught up on. I've been kind of hunting for a good deal on Ghostwire Tokyo. I would still like to play that. I understand that's a pretty short one as well. That was also one that you raved quite a bit about.
If you're willing to play it on PS5, you can borrow my copy.
Sure, I'll play it on PS5. That doesn't bother me at all.
The haptics are actually chef's kiss.
Well, when you come to bring me my my fancy 6-pack of beer, you can come bring.
Yeah,
me
I guess
Ghostwire
when should
Tokyo.
we do that? Let's see.
Well, tell me what your week looks like. I'm down for anything.
We'll figure that out.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps this week's episode of the Power Gamer Podcast. We will, of course, be back again next week with another great episode of the show for you to enjoy. Until then, I'm Mike Dawson.
And I'm Johnny Paulus.
Tune in next time. Take care.
Catch you on the flip-flop.
Ooh, yeah!